It is taken from Mark 9:14 through 32. God's word reads, "When they came to the other disciples, they saw a large crowd around them and the teachers of the law arguing with them. And as soon as all the people saw Jesus, they were overwhelmed with wonder, and they ran to greet him. 'What are you arguing with them about?' Jesus asked. And a man in the crowd answered, 'Teacher, I brought you my son who is possessed by a spirit that has robbed him of speech. Whenever it seizes him, it throws him to the ground. He foams at the mouth, gnashes his teeth, and becomes rigid. I've asked the disciples to drive out the spirit, but they can't.' 'O unbelieving generation,' Jesus replied, 'how long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy to me.' So they brought the boy to him, and when the spirit saw Jesus, it immediately threw the boy into a convulsion. He fell to the ground and rolled around, foaming at the mouth. And Jesus asked the boy's father, 'How long has he been like this?' And from childhood he answered, 'It is often thrown into a fire or water to kill him, but if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us.' 'If you can,' said Jesus, 'everything is possible for him who believes.' Immediately the boy's father exclaimed, 'I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief.' And when Jesus saw that a crowd was running to the scene, he rebuked the evil spirit. 'You deaf and mute spirit,' he said, 'I command you, come out of him and never enter him again.' The spirit shrieked, convulsed him violently, and came out. The boy looked like a corpse, and many said, 'He's dead.' But Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him to his feet, and he stood up. After Jesus had gone indoors, his disciples asked him privately, 'Why couldn't we drive the spirit out?' And he replied, 'This can come out only by prayer.' And they left that place and passed through Galilee. Jesus did not want anyone to know where they were, because he was teaching his disciples. He said to them, 'The Son of Man is going to be betrayed into the hands of men. They will kill him, and after 3 days he will rise.' But they did not understand what he meant and were afraid to ask him about it." The reading of God's word for God's children. How many here love to go to an amusement park? Raise your hand. How many here love to ride on any pick of your roller coasters if they have them at the amusement park? Alright. How many love, what's your top roller coaster? And give me one roller coaster.
Powder keg.
Pardon me?
Powder keg.
Powder keg.
Powder.
Others?
The Mamba.
What's one?
The Mamba.
The Mamba. I've heard about the Mamba.
Fire in the hole.
Fire in the hole. Okay. Well, you know, we go to these amusement parks and we get in line, and sometimes the line's long for a ridiculous short ride. We hop in the car, we buckle ourselves in, or the iron bar comes over us to anchor ourselves in the car. And then one of the operators makes sure they check the seat out, they make sure the iron bar is on you, or your belt where it needs to be, and they flag another operator, and that operator pushes the button, and you're off for the ride of your life. Now, every roller coaster I've been on, and I've been on many, they usually have multiple hills, but they always have one hill. And when you reach the tallest of these hills, you slowly go up. And if anybody doesn't like to ride roller coasters, this is a very painful experience, because you slowly go up the roller coaster, and you're anticipating the drop. And everybody's raising their hands as if they're getting ready to go down the hill. We all done it, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we raise our hands, and we get to the top, and we're like, why did I get on this ride? And you're anticipating that drop, and you're anticipating being thrusted into whatever the roller coaster has in store for you, and you go down the hill, and you're left at the mercy of the roller coaster. You know, life is much like a roller coaster. It obviously has its ups and downs, it has its hills, it has its low places, it has its sharp turns, it has its slow paces, it has its fast paces. And depending on what we have going on in our life, if life is like a roller coaster, and I believe it can be compared to that, if we are on a good time during a good time in our lives, we want the ride to continue, don't we not?
Yes.
We want our ride to continue, but if we are going to a time in our life, and if life is like a roller coaster, we want the ride to come to a screeching halt. Don't we? And we want to try to find the button to stop the roller coaster, to get off the roller coaster. And we want to move on somewhere else in the park because we won't want anything to do with the roller coaster. But if life is going well, what do? We get back, we get on, we get off the exit part of the roller coaster, and if you're like my son and others, you go right back on it. And you go again, and you go again, and you go again, because of the thrill of the positive experience. But if life is not going too well, we run